Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am telling you a story about an orphan boy. So let's start. The ninth story, Oliver Recuperates. The coach stopped before a house in a quiet, shady street near Bentonville. Oliver was taken inside, carefully laid on a bed, and tended with a kindness or something solicitude that knew no bounds. For many days, Oliver lay stretched on the bed, burning beneath the dry and wasting heat of fever. Weak, thin, and pallid, he awoke at last from what seemed to have been a long and troubled dream. Where have I been brought to? Said Oliver. As he uttered these words, the curtain at the bed's head was hastily drawn back by a motherly old lady. Shh, my dear, said the old lady softly. You must be very quiet, or you will be ill again. Lie down again, dear. She looked so kindly and lovingly in his face that he could not help placing his little withered hands in hers, and drawing it round his neck. Save us, said the old lady, with tears in her eyes. What a grateful little dear it is. What would his mother feel if she had sat by him as I have and could see him now? Perhaps she does see me, whispered Oliver, folding his hands together. Perhaps she has sat by me. I almost feel as if she had. That was the fever, my dear, said the old lady mildly. I suppose it was, replied Oliver. But if she knew I was ill, she must have pitied me, for she was very ill herself before she died. The old lady wiped her eyes and brought some cool stuff for Oliver to drink, and then told him he must lie very quiet, or he would be ill again. Oliver soon fell into gentle doze, from which he was awakened by the light of a candle. He saw a gentleman with a very large and loud ticking gold watch in his hand. He felt his pulse and said he was a great deal better. You feel hungry and sleepy, don't you, my dear? Said the doctor. No, sir, replied Oliver. Are you thirsty? Yes, sir, rather thirsty, answered Oliver. Just as I expected, Mrs. Bedwin, said the doctor. You may give him a little tea, ma'am, and some dry toast without any butter. Oliver silently prayed to God and dozed off again. The old lady slept off on the chair. Oliver woke up late in the morning. He felt cheerful and happy. Mrs. Bedwin had him carried downstairs into his little room. You are very, very kind to me, ma'am, said Oliver. Well, never mind that, my dear, said the old lady. Mr. Brownlow may come in to see you this morning. She warmed a basin full of broth and gave it to him. Are you fond of pictures, dear? Inquired the old lady, seeing the Oliver looking intently at the portrait which hung against the wall opposite his chair. I don't know, ma'am, said Oliver, without taking his eyes from the canvas. What a beautiful smiling face that lady has. Ah, said the old lady. Painters always make ladies prettier than they are. Whose portrait is that, ma'am? Asked Oliver. Why, my dear, I don't know, answered the old lady. It is so pretty, replied Oliver. But the eyes look so sorrowful, and where I sit, they seem fixed upon me. It makes my heart beat. Lord save us, exclaimed the old lady. Don't talk in that way, child. Let me wheel your chair round to the other side, and then you won't see it there, said the old lady. As the Oliver finished his broth, Mr. Brownlow walked in. Now the old gentleman came in, and looking at Oliver realized that he looked very worn and weak. How do you feel, my dear? Very happy, replied Oliver. Thank you, sir. Good boy, said Mr. Brownlow, stoutly. Have you given him any nourishment, Bedwin? He had just has a basin of beautiful strong broth, sir, replied Mrs. Bedwin. Said Mrs. Brownlow, a couple of glasses of port wine would have done him better, wouldn't they, Tom White? My name is Oliver, sir, Oliver Twist. Queer name, said the old gentleman. What made you tell the magistrate your name was White? I never told him so, sir, returned Oliver in amazement. The old gentleman looked sternly at Oliver's face. It only reflected sincerity and truth. It was impossible to doubt him. Mr. Brownlow realized that the resemblance between his features and some familiar face came upon him so strongly that he could not withdraw his gaze. I hope you are not angry with me, sir, said Oliver. No, no, replied the old gentleman. Why? What's this, Bedwin? Look there. As he spoke, he pointed hastily to the picture over Oliver's head and then to the boy's face. There was its living copy. The eyes, the head, the mouth, every feature was the same. Oliver, being still weak, fainted. To speak of the other two boys, they fled through the narrow streets and courts and halted beneath a low and dark archway. What will Fagin say? Inquired the Dodger and slunk down the coat thoughtfully. Master Bates followed. They climbed up the stairs and entered the room. The Jew sat over the fire. Why, how's this? Muttered the Jew. Only two of them. Where's the third? They can't have got into trouble, Hark.